Since this is the third year for giving this State of Education address, I want to thank Chancellor Rogers for creating this tradition of addressing the community on the state of education and inviting me to take part. In my 4.5 years as superintendent, Washoe County School District has enjoyed a growing, positive, and meaningful relationship with both Truckee Meadows Community College and the University of Nevada, Reno. This is due to Chancellor Rogers' leadership, as well as the leadership of both TMCC President Maria Sheehan and UNR President Milt Glick. I thank the three of them for this collaboration. Let me begin this address with the troubling subject of the budget. The news could not be any more bleak. In November, Washoe County voters rejected a measure that would have provided much-needed resources to update, modernize, and revitalize the teaching and learning environment in our older schools. Its failure was a blow to all in this community who value education, but more importantly, a blow to our students. Not only would we have been able to improve the condition of our older schools, the average age of which is 40 years, but it would have been a sizable economic stimulus package for the area's battered construction industry. We are now faced with the daunting task of allocating about $300 million in available dollars from the 2002 bond rollover issue to meet an estimated need of $1.3 billion. Our Board of Trustees will have to decide which needs are met and which are not. Shall we spend all of these dollars to protect the taxpayers' investment in existing schools and put a moratorium on new schools? That is one option facing us in the months ahead. Our general fund, the budget that runs this district on a day-to-day basis, is faring no better. We cut our 2007-08 budget by $3.6 million, and we cut this year's budget by another $10.4 million. Sadly, there is no hope on the horizon either. Over the next biennium, it appears that cuts in the range of 14 to 30% will be ordered. That is truly staggering, and here is what that could mean. If you take 25% of our $456 million general fund budget, it is twice what we spend on maintenance and operations. Are we to stop repairing broken plumbing and cleaning schools? 25% is more than we have to transfer to the special education budget to meet federal mandates. Are we to ignore federal law and stop serving these most challenged students? 25% is more than we spend to operate the entire transportation department. Shall we just park all the 300 buses we operate, fire the entire department, and let the students get to school the best way they can? I also need to remind everyone that it is not like we're starting from a position of financial strength. Were this district funded anywhere near the national average, such a scenario would not be as challenging. But we're not. Nevada's per pupil spending of $6,963 ranks as 47th in the nation, almost $2,600 per pupil less than the national average. The Boston Public Schools, a district about the same size as the Washoe County School District, spends $16,000 per pupil. Consider this, and perhaps it will put all of this in perspective. I said a minute ago that our general fund budget is, or used to be, at about $456 million, divided by our enrollment of 63,000 students, and then divided further by the 180-day school year, means we are spending about $40 per day per student to do all we are asked and required to do. That's it, $40 per day per child. That is comparable to what parents pay for daycare. And with that $40, here are some examples of what you get. What is it that we are not supposed to do? Where is the lessening of expectations? We cannot, nor should we, turn children away. We cannot close, nor should we, 1/4 of our schools or decide to cap certain services. We cannot legally drop, nor should we, our ESL program or stop providing special education services. And if this community is to maintain its quest to be a world-class school district, we surely cannot recommend cuts to music, fine arts, JROTC, debate, the International Baccalaureate program, the Gifted and Talented program, or countless other programs that so often spark and ignite a student's passion to come to school. Finally, I want to comment just briefly on some of the steps we have already taken to be as efficient as possible with our limited resources. A district-wide rezoning of our elementary schools last year moved about 1,800 students from crowded schools to others with space. Doing so delayed the need for building 2 schools at a savings of $48 million. Energy conservation measures have resulted in a savings of $179,000 in annual utility bills. The realignment of bus routes 2 years ago has shown a savings of $481,000, and initial cuts at the central office has netted a savings of about $300,000. When I sit back and think about all of this, I am reminded of a poignant scene after Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans. Do you recall 9-year-old Charles Evans outside the convention center who said to the camera, "This is pitiful, just pitiful. We just need some help out here"? Well, as surely as that hurricane leveled the Gulf Coast, the economic winds are wreaking havoc with education in Nevada, and just like Charles, we need some help out here. Now, despite the seriousness of this situation, our core mission remains unchanged: to have every child graduate from high school, college, and/or career ready. It is not the fault of our students we are in this economic mess, and no matter what our budget ends up being, our goal of all students graduating is as important now as ever. Why must every child graduate? There is overwhelming evidence that a high school diploma is the gateway to economic opportunity. The average annual earnings of a high school dropout is $19,900 per year. For a female, it is $14,300. A high school graduate earns $29,400, while those with an associate's degree earn $38,000 and a bachelor's degree $54,600. The more you learn, the more you earn. Failure to successfully complete high school is a decision to throw away up to $5 million in earning power over a lifetime. A high school diploma is the key to economic opportunity. Absent a decent standard of living, what does life promise a child? Although there are many barriers to education success, the most destructive statistically is poverty. At an early age, the impacts of poverty can be devastating. Poor children have vision problems at twice the rate of middle-class children. They have untreated cavities at 3 times the rate and blood lead levels at 5 times the rate. The overall health of a child affects attendance, the ability to learn, and ultimately academic performance. As professional educators, we accept these facts as challenges, not excuses.